Valentine's Day, a time for love, candy hearts, cute stuffed teddy bears, and brutality from the world of WWE. There's something special in the air around this time of year, and far from getting all lovey-dovey, it tends to lead to superstars bringing out their worst side in the ring. Today we'll take a look at the fascinating history of WWE violence and moments that we all know and love, which hilariously came to fruition around the most romantic date on the calendar. I'm Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Do not worry, your sensitive soul is safe with me, but just for laughs, let's have a gander at the 10 biggest Valentine's Day massacres in WWE history. Number 10. Mark Henry destroys Hornswoggle, Raw 2013. At the end of a mercifully short 90-second match against the Great Khali, Mark Henry managed to get the Punjabi Playboy up for an impressive World's Strongest Slam, earning him the victory. Luckily for Khali, he had Natalya and Hornswoggle at his side to make sure he was okay after Henry had left the ring. Unluckily for Hornswoggle, Henry snuck back into the ring, catching the attention of Natalya, who was wise enough to get out of dodge as soon as possible. Hornswoggle was not so lucky, as Mark stalked behind him for about 30 seconds before putting a hand on the little Irishman. Lifting him up with ease, Henry threw his whole body weight down on the former leprechaun with a crippling World's Strongest Slam. Lovely. Number 9. Cesaro pins WWE Champion Randy Orton, SmackDown 2014. In the lead up to the Elimination Chamber, Randy Orton found himself going one-on-one against one of his competitors in the upcoming Steel Structure match, Cesaro. The competitors were very even at the start of the match, with Orton rolling to the outside twice to get a breather. Cesaro got the better of Randy when he would re-enter the ring and was able to hit the deadlift suplex and double foot stomp to take control. Cesaro then unloaded with uppercuts, making Orton seek refuge on the outside of the ring once again. Once back in the ring, Cesaro was able to take over until Randy would roll out once again, this time calling the Doctor over. Fair to state that this was just how Orton rolled in 2014. You get it? Because, I apologize. This was all a ruse, however, as he attacked Cesaro shortly after his last rollout. Cesaro would then avoid an RKO attempt with a brutal uppercut to the back of the head, followed by a beautiful pop-up uppercut. And the match was over following yet another uppercut and the neutralizer. Valentine's Justice. Number 8. John Cena pounces on Rusev, Raw 2015. Feeling high and mighty from getting a jump on John Cena the week before, Rusev felt confident enough to come out and interrupt the leader of the C Nation. While discussing his intentions to restore glory to the US title and be the one that finally defeats the mighty Bulgarian, Lana's music hit first as the couple laid into Cena, and I suppose America as a whole. As we all know by now, that is the last thing you want to do when standing anywhere in the vicinity of Cena, as shown roughly about 30 seconds later. Cena ripped his shirt off and charged up the entrance ramp towards Rusev, tackling him down onto the metal with a solid thud. Referees tried to come out to help the dastardly villain, but Cena was having none of it, and sent them packing. After picking Rusev back up, he then sent him headfirst into the large video board on stage. How romantic. Number 7. Evolution give Mick Foley a vicious beatdown, Raw 2004. With their WrestleMania 20 tag match coming up, Intercontinental Champion Randy Orton stood in the middle of the ring and called out his nemesis Mick Foley. Randy may have realized he got himself in over his head as soon as Foley started to clobber Orton. With Orton down, Foley turned his attention to the ramp just in time to see Ric Flair trying to get the jump on him. Mighty Mick was just about able to fend off the pair, but then Batista joined the fray, and Orton finally took advantage of the numbers game by nailing Foley with a low blow. It was a truly merciless showing by Evolution here as they continued to beat on Foley long after it was necessary. Evolution would then hit a Shield-esque triple powerbomb, thankfully putting an end to this callous whooping. Number 6. Bischoff and Morley vs Jim Ross, Raw 2003. Earlier in the show, Bischoff came to the ring to address the roster and declare his confidence before his upcoming bout against a returning Stone Cold Steve Austin. To give everyone an example of what was coming for Austin, Bischoff announced that he would be taking on Jim Ross later that night. Eazy-E then grabbed the mic and announced that the match wouldn't just be a standard one. Oh no, it would be a no-holds-barred match instead. Immediately after the bell had rung, Bischoff's associate, Chief Morley, made his way into the ring to double-team good old JR. As Morley placed a wooden block on JR's face, you could almost feel the energy of the building, hoping that they wouldn't actually go through with it. A solid kick from Bischoff dashed those hopes, however, as he broke the block over good old JR's face. 2003, ladies and gentlemen, 2003. Number 5, The Rock vs Mankind, Last Man Standing, St. Valentine's Day Massacre. This match was just all-round brutal for everyone involved, with the chair shots, table spots, stairs attacks, and an unrelenting assault from both men who wanted nothing more than to be the champion. After The Rock was DDT'd through a table, the fight was pushed to the backstage area where he was put through even more tables. The action returned to the ringside area as The Rock decided to take a breather and join the commentary team until Foley dove over the table, taking him out. Mankind brought some stairs into the ring, but The Rock countered with a chair and took advantage until Mankind ducked the chair shot, causing Rock's weapon to hit the rope before bouncing back into his own face. Wow. As the match reached its climax, eventually both men got hold of their own chairs and knocked each other out with them, ending the match in a draw. Chairs, tables, and concussions. How else would you celebrate St. Valentine? Number 4, Kane attacks Zack Ryder. Raw 2012. All Kane wanted was for John Cena to embrace the hate, but his constant refusal led Zack Ryder to embrace the, well, brace. Ryder was getting beat up week in and week out, all thanks to Cena, and Zack had finally had enough. Weeks before, Kane attacked Ryder in the parking lot, choke-slamming him off the loading dock, which then forced Zack to be in a wheelchair with a back brace when he returned. As if all that wasn't bad enough, earlier on this same night, Ryder would roll his way onto the scene right when his crush, Eve Torres, was planting a smooch on John Cena. While Cena was out to cut a promo against Kane, Ryder came out to voice his displeasure with John, as his friendship with the face that runs the place had led to nothing but pain and disappointment. When Cena went to grab a microphone to respond to his friend, Kane would appear at the top of the ramp behind Ryder, like a good old-fashioned horror movie villain. Kane quickly took control of Ryder's wheelchair and pushed him straight off the side of the stage, about 6 feet onto the concrete floor. Yikes. Number 3, Orton punts Shane and RKO's Stephanie. Raw 2009. In today's WWE, if you feud with Triple H, you don't just feud with him, you feud with the entire McMahon family. Apparently that was the case back in 2009 as well, as Randy Orton would find himself going one-on-one with Shane O'Mac in the midst of his heated rivalry with The Game. Before long, Orton's legacy stablemates made their way out to hammer away on Vince's son. With Shane down and out, the brother-in-law of Triple H found himself on the receiving end of a hellacious punt kick. The medics made their way out very quickly, as all of the members of Legacy stood back and surveyed their handiwork. A visually worried Stephanie then made her way down to check on her brother in a state of sheer panic. Once she made it into the ring, Randy slowly made his way back over to Shane to get a closer look. Stephanie got all up in his face about how he could ever do such a thing, only to fall victim to an RKO. Out of nowhere! Happy Valentine's Day, Stephanie. Number 2, Eddie Guerrero wins the WWE title from Brock Lesnar. No Way Out 2004. One of the most shocking and amazing title changes of all time took place back in 2004, as Eddie Guerrero beat the Beast Brock Lesnar for the WWE title. The fans were firmly behind Latino Heat as the bout got underway, hoping he could somehow find a way to down the massive Lesnar. As Brock set Eddie up for the F5 that would have no doubt ended the match, he inadvertently sent Guerrero into the referee, knocking the official out. Seeing that the referee was out of commission, Lesnar went to grab his title belt to use as a weapon against Eddie, but suffered a spear from the hands of Goldberg, and this was just as Eddie began to stir. Brock managed to get back to his feet and set Eddie up for yet another F5, only for Guerrero to counter the attempt into a DDT onto the title belt. One huge frog splash later saw Eddie Guerrero jumping into the raucous crowd to celebrate as the new WWE champion. Number 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin bloodies Vince McMahon, St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Austin vs. McMahon is the feud that defined the WWF and kept them alive in their fight against WCW in the late 90s. And this match in particular encompasses perfectly why the feud did just that. Once the bell rang, the match was as one-sided as it could possibly be. Stone Cold wasn't just going to beat Mr. McMahon, he was going to make sure that Vince would never be able to ruin his chances at the title ever again. McMahon's attempts to flee were constantly thwarted by the Rattlesnake. But little did Austin know that Paul White, aka The Big Show, was lying in wait under the ring. The Giant burst through the canvas and attacked Austin in the climax of the match. As White threw Stone Cold into the cage wall, the wall gave way, swinging wide open and allowing Austin to land feet first on the ground, winning the match and the spot at WrestleMania to go with it. Hell of a spectacle, hell of a debut, and a hell of a Valentine's Day Massacre. Thank you. And that is our list. Know of any other Valentine's Day massacres we missed? Let us know all about them in the loving section below. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, why not head on over to whatculture.com to read some more beautiful articles just like this heartbreaker. I've been Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Have an amazing Valentine's Day, and I'm sure that I'll see you soon.